Mama said don't talk to strangers. That's okay. We'll do it for you. Welcome to the Bar Talk Podcast, where we talk to interesting people doing interesting shit.
Cheers.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah. First time here, actually.
Yeah? All right. First time at the Roof
Yeah,
House?
it's nice.
Right on, thanks. Yeah, there's not a lot of places in the valley, but I think the Annapolis Valley has become quite a spot for food and beverage.
No doubt.
Yeah,
There's
man.
so many gems out here.
Yeah, and you've been a big part of that.
I have, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is Stephane Levac.
Yes,
right? Yep.
that's right.
Currently chef at
Back at Maritime Express.
Maritime Express.
Yes.
But you've got a long resume.
I do.
Yeah.
And this is my second go at Maritime, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after Top Chef Canada, I had a few opportunities come my way and sort of followed the money, if you will. But yeah, I quickly made my way back. Scott and Jimmy had reached out and kind of met me where I wanted them to. So
yeah, they're good guys.
And it was super close to
Scott
home as well.
Jimmy,
So
yeah.
they're great.
I work with them. We buy cider from them, and they buy beer from us. And Jimmy, I know Jimmy a lot better just because he's the cider maker and hangs out there a lot.
Yeah. Well, we've known each other for years for that reason.
Yeah.
Just crossing paths.
Yep. Well, like the reason I opened a bar and a brewing company is because I love food and I love beer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't care who made it. I just wanted great food and beer. So, like, I'm a big fan of it.
That's right.
I'll go wherever there's good stuff.
Exactly.
Right? I don't care if I'm in charge of it or not. I'm just glad that there's more things coming. I take a lot of honor in being at least a small part of what's going on, especially in Annapolis Valley.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Ontario, so
okay.
I've been here for 13 years. And
wow.
I mean, when we first moved here, we started a catering business and we filled the void with, none of these wineries had any of these restaurants at the time. You might get like a little charcuterie board or something like that, but it's definitely blown up in the last decade.
Sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's a destination. Like you can't get through Wolfville on like a fall weekend.
That's
like
right.
The traffic is
I hate
unreal. I love it and hate it at the same time.
Yeah,
but there's so many people from the city are just flooding down, for the food and the wineries and the pumpkin patches and corn mazes, and it's a beautiful thing.
I know, it's where
really
we live.
is.
It's I like to call it an agricultural wonderland.
Yeah, well, and the agriculture just feeds into the whole food scene, food and beverage scene. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, we pick up a lot of our stuff locally. Like our potatoes come from Spur Brothers and the same people that make our cider. Like I know most of the people that produce our food. I mean, we're pretty good customers at GFS. GFS has been great, and we're pretty consistent with them. But
Same
we
with us,
don't buy much from them. We buy our oils and our spices and stuff like that you can't really get around here. But all of our protein comes from the local butcher, and the fish comes from the wharf in Digby, and the potatoes, all that kind of stuff. It's great. It's a lot of work. It's a long time to get to work because I got to go to same with you guys, right? You're sourcing as much local as
exactly.
as possible.
We work with GFS. We order quite a bit. I mean, Maritime is a bit of a beast. When it comes to all the different rooms that we have. We have a ballroom, parlor room, dining room, and all these spaces can be rented at the same time. And We're in it right now.
That
with
one little kitchen
the
has to
holiday
service
events.
all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's convenience there for sure with GFS, but I'm the same. I cruise around. I love maintaining those relationships with farmers, whatever kind of producers, and those are my favorite conversations as well. Those one-on-one conversation. What's new? Or what can I do for you? It's cool but behind the scenes things that you don't see on social media that I love.
Yeah. But it's cool that almost everything you serve, or the vast majority of things you serve, the person behind that.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And it tells a story.
The winemakers, the brewers, the farmers.
I love it.
Butcher. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It brings another level of intimacy. I
feel like, if I've never been a chef in the city, but I feel there's a disconnect there,
Yeah. Not all of them, but a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Ray Bear, I think you're probably the second chef. Ray, I mean, he doesn't just know the farmer, he became the farmer.
Exactly. I used to work for Ray. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah,
good fella.
No doubt. Yeah. He's got some ideas.
He takes everything to 11.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing, or
I'm not just going to be the chef. I'm going to be the farmer too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, the Annapolis Valley offers a lot.
Oh yeah,
in that way.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And this is what I mean. Those hidden gems, there's, cheesemakers everywhere. Really, if you think about it, even on a small scale, I've been up on the mountain close to Ray. Actually, I met somebody through Ray with a catering gig at the farm.
Okay.
And she brought us some butter. I can't think of her name right now, but I sort of invited myself over to her house to learn how to make butter, on the farm, of course we could do it in the kitchen, but the old school German, not so much technology, but, something that separates the cream from the milk, it's kind of neat to see. And that finished product is, it's just that wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an intimacy with food that I think we miss in our modern world when there's cellophane packages at the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
It's a different kind of experience. But here in the Annapolis Valley, you get to at least experience a little more of that.
Yeah.
You see the orchards, you see you see the cattle. Yeah.
And to me, that only sparks interest for myself, I'm curious.
Yeah. And there's way better product.
Yeah.
Than what you can get from the store.
Exactly.
I know Ben, he moved here from the UK. He said he didn't realize what a tomato tastes like till he came here.
Well, if you go to the grocery store in England, they just taste like water, really.
Yeah.
Right.
There is actually a flavor to them here, which I was like, oh.
And I'm going to say butter here probably tastes like water to butter versus butter in the UK or France or.
Yeah, I mean, butter's not as bad, but yeah, it's nice to get all the fresh stuff around here. It's been pretty good, but in general, I think the quality has been much higher here.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Growing up, I thought there was only 3-4 varietals of apples. All I saw was Red Delicious, Goldens, Granny Smiths, and Macintosh. And then you move out here, and
that's all there was for the longest time, right?
Jimmy's probably introducing you to a new apple every day.
Exactly. But a lot of these growers, they'll introduce us to new varietals, which is kind of fun. I've had some stuff dropped off at the restaurant that I can't even mention the name of the varietal. It's just something that that particular company or farmer that they're working on,
or maybe something even old that we just hadn't seen. I know Ken from Revival Seeds was in here a few weeks ago, and he was talking about these old heritage seeds that are being revitalized. There may be one family somewhere in Saskatchewan that's been growing them forever, and now they're able to reproduce these seeds and get them out there. These old heritage breeds, which is cool. I
know, I love that. I was just watching or rewatching a Chef's Table episode with Sean Brock.
Okay.
And one of his cookbooks is actually heritage. But this particular episode, they're focusing on the South in the United States, but it's the old seeds that they're looking at for different varietals of beans, corn, which
because we only think of one or two types of corn, but there's dozens.
Yellow peaches and cream. Yeah.
And popcorn.
Pretty much.
Orville Rettenbach.
But if you don't know, if you're not in you will think that's what there is, because there's not. If you go to the grocery store, there is literally nothing else.
Well, it's the same as there used to be dozens and dozens of types of beer. I mean, there are dozens of types of beer, but then you had this consolidation to big business, and you had American Light Lagers by Budweiser, and that's that became everyone's idea of beer. Just like Ben's bread became everyone's idea of bread. The big business takes it over, and they don't want to make a dozen varieties or 70 varieties. They want to focus on one thing and do it efficiency.
What percentage of cheese that's made in the world is cheddar?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or some kind of says cheddar on it.
Not even cheese. It's cheese food product.
Yeah.
May contain real cheese.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, I think it's great. I think a lot of people are interested in getting back to our roots. I think people are realizing that we're healthier physically and mentally when we get back to the natural ingredients of things.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And you've been on a lot of television shows.
Gosh, they're adding up now.
Quite a bit. But the most recent one was what was it? The foraging. You were doing some foraging on one of the television
shows.
So
the most recent one was the show's called Nature's Cool.
Right.
It's only a 9-minute show on Bell 5 TV1 on demand, channel 401 here in the Atlantic. But yeah, I've done about 8 shows now, 2 competitive shows, with the chefing. But, just, from these shows, again, these opportunities have been coming my way. And if it aligns with my values, I'm at that point now, I used to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
This is going back to catering, but now I'm really, peeling back a little bit and focusing
we have to.
on
We're
what
getting
my
older.
values are. And I don't say
getting
yes to
older
everything.
and wiser.
Yeah, exactly. More tired.
I don't know. Yeah, but so you've been doing a lot of foraging as a hobby, I would assume, right?
I have,
That's
yes.
been because you have indigenous roots, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. So you're from Ontario. So what would the background be there?
I'm a Ojibwe from Manitoulin Island, Chiging, formerly known as West Bay.
Okay.
It's on Lake Huron. It's the largest island on a fresh lake, or a freshwater lake. But yeah, no, I was adopted early age, 6 weeks. I was born in Ottawa, raised in Sturgeon Falls, which is West Nipissing, but Nipissing First Nations are there, which is only a few hours away.
Right.
It's kind of crazy that I've never been on the island, Manitoulin Island. Wow. I just discovered my birth family not that long ago. But yeah, growing up, I was curious, we played in the woods, but never to taste stuff, I'd go out with my parents and
because we're always kind of warned as a kid, just don't eat things in the forest.
Yeah.
Stay away from the berries, stay away from the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we stuck to our guns, with what we knew back then, and it's no different today, I do a lot of foraging, yes, but my knowledge, is still novice, if you will. I pick what I know. I do a lot of it for sure. Yeah. Not only supply, Maritime Express, but I do those better restaurants around here as well, like Bessie North House, Le Caveau, Juniper, Oxalis in the city, a couple of other restaurants there. I've kind of been, the last few years known as that guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to do more of it, I see great value behind it with, mental health and, just getting away from the everyday, day-to-day activities. No, I love it.
So there's a really practical part of that, because you're actually harvesting food, but there's this spiritual kind of element to it.
Exactly.
Too, right?
Yeah.
And it must be a little bit of getting in touch with your roots.
Exactly.
As well, yeah.
Yeah. And I've, some of the shows I've talked about that, some interviews, newspapers, whatever, but it's definitely going back to my roots.
Yeah.
It's, trying to think like that as well. How can I, put everything together on a dish that makes sense. For the last few years, I've been looking for that right platform, I'm grateful that, some opportunities are doing pop-ups, either here or in the city or, as of late, I've done stuff in different provinces, more so this side of Ontario, but, I'm slowly getting there to really promote what I've been working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame how much of our traditions have been lost.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Not only Indigenous people,
right.
Yeah.
I have, my great-grandfather was Mi'kmaq, and he was a trapper, and that's how my whole family, way back, were all trappers. And then they began to catch these animals live in cages and learn to breed them. And my whole family were mink farmers, way back. Yeah, so I grew up with that. I grew up with my Mi'kmaq grandfather.
What do you do with the
mink? There was nothing anymore. We got out of the business. The mink business went out of business 8 years ago when I started this company.
Okay.
Yeah, they'd be harvested for their fur.
Yeah.
I think I've said it here before. I was 5 years old when I skinned my first animal.
Wow.
I caught a rabbit in a snare, 5, and my grandfather's yelling at me, making me, skin this rabbit. That's just how you grew up. And I remember him saying, "This is your heritage. You need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
Your life might depend on this someday."
I love working with rabbit.
Yeah.
Not so much wild rabbit. We're Olton's offers that just outside of Windsor. But no, I grew up like that as well with the going out with my cousin, checking out his snares. It was a lot of fun actually. Learning not to step on the tracks,
Right.
and so that they'll probably come back.
Well, there's so many skills there I think we've lost because a little bit of it is we can go to the grocery store. We don't have to forage for food. We don't have to do this, but some people have kept these things going. Even planting gardens, like not many people know how to do that. No. Like for a long time, the only people that knew how to grow things were potheads, right?
And even then,
you're either 80 or you're a pothead. Those are the only two people that grew things. But now I see a resurgence in these things. There seems to be people that are getting back, through the pandemic, people making sourdough and people making pasta and people growing gardens and doing all these things. Like there seems to be a real craving and yearning to get back to some of these traditions. And it's good because we can learn these things. Yeah. We should keep these things alive. Probably healthier for our physical and mental health too.
Well, and our palates as well. They're
delicious.
You go to the grocery store and buy beef, and versus a farmer that might have a Jersey Highland Cross type product, and you taste that beef, and it's almost like it's wild. But like to me, it's like this is what it should taste like. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. People are a little uneasy with that. Intimate relationship with eating and death.
I know. I found out the hard way. You know me, like I'm pretty avid with the social media.
Yeah.
But we take a lot of pride behind our Taco Tuesday program, which is I've been having a lot of fun with it in the last couple of years, but maybe a little too much fun bringing in pigs' heads and stuff like that, and making a post and getting attacked by the vegans.
Vegan attack. They're weak. They couldn't fight you anyway. Joking.
Yeah. No, we love our vegans. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we do too. We have a lot of dishes.
But I it's not annoying, but I can't rebuttal what they're saying.
Like you are honoring the vegans' sensibilities by offering things on your menu for vegans.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
That's not you, but you're respecting that.
Yep.
We just ask for the same courtesy back, right?
Yeah.
Let's tolerate each other. Let's love each other.
We're talking about going back to my roots, and it's and that's using the whole animal.
Right.
So it'd be. I wish they would, open their minds a little bit and think it or look at it that way.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
Not all of them are unreasonable. There's always just a small percentage of people sometimes can get a little bit annoying.
I know. It's like Canadians versus Leafs or something.
Yeah. and I'm sure there's people on the other side too. There's people that go kill animals and want to flaunt it in people's face, right? Like there's annoying people on all sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a little tolerance and love and understanding go a long way.
Yeah. Well, it's again with spirituality. I'm not a big hunter. Like I'm sure I hunt. I'll call it hunting for mushrooms, but it's all about that journey, right? That brings you back down, if you will, to earth.
Yeah.
No,
because our people live like that for most of human history. Like we think like we just know what we know in our recent history, but this is a very small slice of the human experience to like go to grocery stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're
so spoiled, man.
So spoiled, so entitled. Not very long ago, like what would you have to be like 1950s, 1940s? Everybody around here would already have their winter's food stored up. Not very long ago. Like everything would be pickled and jarred, and you'd have your bin of potatoes in the root cellar. You'd have, you'd have all that already.
Yeah, the peasant food, it's some of the best.
Yeah, it's stocked up, ready to go.
Preservation, like I love that.
Yeah. There's growing the food, like growing the food and hunting the job, which would be traditionally the man's job a lot of times. But then that's only half the battle, because if you get the food and you can't preserve it, you're going to starve.
One good meal.
There's a lot of skill in preserving the food.
Hopefully which would really traditionally good compost and your garden's going to be that much better.
Which would traditionally be, a female job, way back. But and there's so much craft in that I think has been forgotten.
Yeah,
like preserving the food, like the salting and the drying and all that stuff. It's amazing because that's a lot of work.
No, it is
a lot of work.
I know.
Yeah,
along with the
tinker
foraging,
with some of that stuff, right?
I do. Charcuterie. More so with like pâtés and rillettes and stuff like that. Pickling. I do pickle chanterelles, but the last few years I've been making salt as well.
Making salt.
Yeah. I head to the bay and I'll gather some tidal pool water.
Yeah.
I like to think it's pretty clean. It's been sitting there for a while. Everything's probably at the bottom of the pool, but no, it's. again, I think we're just so spoiled with, you know, over consumer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there's how many 100,000 products are in one grocery store? Like,
right. And we can be so wasteful when it's so cheap and plentiful, when it's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it can be so wasteful.
Yeah.
But I think if you've raised that pig and that's your pig, you're not going to waste
no, hell no,
any of it.
Yeah,
you're not going to forget about that roast and not cook it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to throw away the leftovers. No. Yeah.
Well, I'll take the head.
You can have the head.
Yeah, I'll do
you can have,
head taco.
until I'd have to get really hungry to tackle my head. My grandparents tricked me into eating head cheese once. I'll never forgive them. They used to think that was funny to trick me to eat that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that would have been an essential, right? Like, not long ago, that would be, you don't waste that.
No, no doubt.
What is head cheese? It's like pickled brains, isn't it?
It's all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like something I want to eat right now. But
no, it's like this salty,
may contain cheese.
It's not cheese. They fooled me. I think it's pig brain or something like that. So yeah, you've been on Top Chef Canada twice.
Once. Yeah, I did the other competitive show with Chef Bois. Season 3 in Quebec. They like to call it Quebec's wildest competition.
Okay.
Or culinary competition. And that was with Chef Maritime Picard, which, you know, is a legend in this country. And he leans that way, you know, with the preservation, that type of style of food, not wasting. Yeah. You know, it was a great experience. Everything's an experience. I mean, you know, my career has been about my intuition, and I just take it as it comes. And you know,
well, that's the best way.
You know, I'll take the criticism, you know, as hard as it is sometimes, and that's the only way you're going to grow. Like,
life is messy.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. Yeah. So, do you speak French?
I do. It's my first language. Actually.
Okay. Wow. So so the family that adopted you, were they Indigenous?
No,
French.
No, so I grew up in again Sturgeon Falls, very, very French white Catholic community. Wow.
So that's the name. Yeah, that's where you got your name. Okay.
So my birth name is Christopher.
Okay.
Last name Abel. You know, again at 6 weeks, my parents changed that to Stephane. But that's my son's name today. It's Christopher.
Oh, wow.
You know, just paying a little homage to my birth mother, just for having me, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, she could have chose a different route, but
yeah,
I'm here.
So, did you say you had a chance to meet your birth family?
Not yet. So not actually the same weekend as Top Chef Canada. Top Chef Canada reached out on a Monday, but that weekend, just before that, I had put my story out on Facebook. There's a group page for the band, or, you know, Cheeking, where my roots are from. And I've been on this group page for so many years, and I don't know why I decided to. I'm just going to put my story out there one morning. It's like 5 a.m. I was out back porch, my underwear, having a cigarette. And here I am, just writing this message. You know, here's my story. Here's, you know, a little bit of information that I have from social services. You know, it wasn't much information. I had no names. But what was interesting about my birth mom is that, you know, she was allergic to the sun. So I put that out there, and
you knew this how?
Just through those papers,
that medical,
bit of information.
Yeah, information.
They give you, you know, this is back 79, early 80s. Yeah. They gave you, you know, hobbies, interests, you know, health. Yeah. Any health concerns, you know, diabetes might be in the family or something like that. But yeah, my birth mom, she was allergic to the sun. She had to wear special eyeglasses, and that resonated with somebody. He's like, I only know one person. Like, all day long, you know, I was getting these messages, no real leads until this guy.
So people took an interest in trying to help.
In the story, they loved it.
That's cool.
You know, just being one of them. You know, they were willing to help.
That's awesome.
And I finally I was at Maritime, and I got this message, or somebody called actually.
Oh, really?
Just like, or no, I get this message, And the guy says, I only know one person that's like that. Her name's Christine. Unfortunately, she's passed.
Christine, and that's where you got the name Christopher, probably.
Probably, yeah. I tried making that connection as well. And, but, you know, I was on my way to the grocery store picking up some stuff for the restaurant. And I'm chatting with this guy. I'm like, cool, this is awesome. And then I get back to the restaurant and somebody told me, or, you know, one of my coworkers, like, yeah, one of your uncles just called.
Wow.
And then I went back on my social media. I was like, what uncle? Like, anyway, I go back on social media, and I had like so many messages from my direct family.
Wow.
I lost it. Like, you know, it was just like so emotional.
Oh, that would be a lot to process.
You know, it's just like
lost and found in one day.
Yeah. Because when I was younger, you know, there was some interest in trying to find my family, but it was a little frustrating because social services would only release that amount of information. You know, they kind of lied to me. In my earlier teens, you know, these papers that they gave me, it's like, oh, come back when you're 18, we'll release more information, which was BS. Yeah. So I kind of gave up on that. But then, you know, as I got older, you know, it became important to find out, you know, my background, my roots. And, you know, I said, I'll be back, guys. And I went to my car. I sat there. I cried for like half an hour. Sure. Yeah. And then, you know, I've been in touch with like some of my first cousins, some of my aunts. And then Monday, I get this message on Instagram, you know, Top Chef Canada.
Wow.
They reached out, see if I'd be willing to apply for the show. And I was just like, oh, okay, what's going on in my life right now?
A whirlwind.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. Yeah, for sure.
A lot to process.
That kind of, it was. And that kind of like kickstarted everything, which has happened to me in the last almost 5 years now.
Timing is wild, is it not? About life.
Yeah.
The universe does some weird shit.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't think the older I get, the more I don't think it's coincidence. Like the timing of things and the way things on, because maybe you just had to be at that point of your life and your maturity and in things to receive that. Yeah. To be ready for it or something. I don't know. Yeah. Does it feel like that? Does it feel like it was the right time for you?
Yes, because you know, I used to be so shy when I was a kid. Yeah. You know, feeling like an outcast. You know, being adopted and that community. But then, you know, over the years, you know, I got out of that shell a little bit. You know, I was a bingo caller. You know,
literally bingo
I could
caller?
never do an oral presentation in my class in front of my friends because you know they're laughing at me. It's just like it's so embarrassing, and I was never able to do it. I felt like I developed anxiety, so you know, bingo kind of helped with that. And you know, sitting up on a stage above, you know, hundreds of people, just all you have to know is like 5 letters and 75 numbers. You know, the job's pretty easy. A little basic math, you know, for payouts. But, you know, I got comfortable talking in front of people. And, you know, gosh, I'm a bit of a late bloomer in this industry. You know, I did this for like 12 years up until my early 30s until we moved here and jumped into this industry. You know, like, again, like whatever opportunity came my way, it's just like, yes, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to ask myself, what if, you know, you never know. Like
you don't.
No, you know,
like bingo calling. Bingo calling helped you on your path.
Yeah.
You never know.
Being nervous,
right?
You know, is normal, you know, like, but I like to think of it now that you're just stepping into something that's just awesome. You know,
that's what I'm realizing lately. There's no really wasted chapter of your life.
No.
Like whatever you may have done something you think is so obscure and would not lead to anything, but that weird season in your life helps you build on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah. So if you write your life stories, at least one chapter needs to be titled, I was a bingo caller.
That could be the title of the whole book.
But that's something I think young people need to hear and understand is like, you don't know where you're going. Like I've ended up in places in my life I never saw coming. You've ended up in places you didn't see coming. Right.
That's right.
And I think the young people, you have no idea what the universe has in store for you, God or the universe or whatever. Just work hard at wherever you're at. That's what I think.
When you're younger, you think that the adults have got to figure it out.
Yeah.
When you're an adult, you figure out that nobody's got to figure it out.
Just apply yourself to wherever you're at If you're bingo calling,
there's a lot of people out there that make me feel better about myself.
Yeah, just apply yourself to whatever, because you don't know where it's gonna take you next. You just never do.
Yeah,
no doubt. I was on MasterChef Canada season 3. I didn't expect that.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know no clue. Yeah, just
That's
a couple
awesome.
Canadian reality TV cooking stars here. Yeah,
we have Mike Schroeder and Ken Phil as well. You know, he's been on a couple of shows too. And, you know, I'm sure he never imagined that.
No, you should have like a cook-off or something. You should get
No.
It's not fair. He's pro level.
They could be like a handicap system or something.
Top Chef is for actual chefs.
Yeah.
Master Chef is home cooks.
See, and I hate reminding people about that.
And they shouldn't. Yeah, I'll do it for you. They shouldn't even call it Master Chef, because we're home cooks.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, applying that title chef is not fair.
Right.
Like, don't hold me to the same standard as him, folks.
Yeah.
Don't expect that.
I'm sure you got some tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, some home cooked tricks up the sleeve, but it's not the same as a formally trained, experienced chef.
Interesting to pit one against the other to see, like, with the same ingredients, what kind of thing you might come up with, I guess. But
yeah, you might get lucky sometimes, but yeah.
Well, see, I'm self-taught though. So again, like it's been my career's been.
But you've had
intuition,
many years experience, and you've learned from other chefs and kitchen experience. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Because like with MasterChef Canada, you don't even qualify if you've worked in a formal kitchen or had any culinary. Yeah.
Some people have sent me the application.
Yeah.
I've read the fine print and understood that, you know, you can't make a living in this industry for a period of 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. You're gonna have to be just like self-taught home cook. That's the point of the show, right? Yeah, I think it's because people at home, that's more relatable to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. Yeah.
Well, then that's what Andy does. You know, Andy's East Coast Kitchen on Instagram. Andy Hay, I believe he lives in Dartmouth, but like he's been on MasterChef twice. He hasn't won, but like he has a hell of a career right now.
Yeah.
You know, he has over 1 million followers. You know, sponsored by Sobeys, and you know. Not to say that he's selling out, but you know, like these are the opportunities that are coming his way, and he's, you know, making the most of it.
Yeah,
Kudos to that guy.
And television is kind of a dying media form too. How many people even have television anymore?
Right.
But the people, you know, you can get an opportunity to be on TV, and then you capitalize on that with social media, and you can make a career out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out now. It's like it's a whole separate resume, right?
Yeah.
You know, yes, everything's related with food, but like, what else can I do with this?
Right.
You know, people ask me, well, what do you want to do with it? So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. And it may not even, it'll be clear when it's time.
Yeah.
Opportunities come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah. Just put your head down and work at what you're doing and do what you love and be passionate and honest about it, and the opportunities will come.
Yeah, no doubt.
So opportunities have come.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one as well. You know?
Oh, man. I love this. This is great.
Interesting people? Is that what I'm
interesting people doing interesting shit.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that.
Well, I think, and like a lot of podcasts are based in like California or some big city somewhere, and a lot of people see folks on there and say, you know, that's cool that they're doing these things, but that's not relatable. You know what I mean? Here, I like to highlight local people who are actually doing cool things that can inspire people. There's a lot of dreamers out there, and a lot of the dreams never get realized, right? Yeah. But I think it's inspiring to have local folks that are doing cool stuff that can inspire some young people to like go for it.
Have you, I don't know how many episodes you've had, but have you?
You're number 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've had musicians.
Oh, yeah. Some musicians, yeah.
That's a tough gig in Canada.
A tough gig, yeah. But Jeremy Outhouse from Tide and Timber was episode 1. We had AJ Barragar a few episodes ago. But yeah, that's a hard way to make a living. Almost as hard as the food industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, gosh, you know, there's so much talent around here.
There's a lot of talent.
Guys like Scotty Marsters, you know, she's just a rock star in his own right.
Yeah.
He does some traveling, but like, why doesn't the world know about this guy?
Yeah. No, there's a lot of cool people. We've had dog trainers, and we've had we've had mushroom farmers. We've had seed people. There's all kinds of things.
Awesome.
The immigration minister Jill Balser was on.
Oh, really?
Whatever. Yeah, there's some cool people right here doing cool things.
I love it.
We had a young guy, Luke Babin. He lost 185 pounds. 23-year-old guy lost 185 pounds. He's a cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, you know, how tempting is that when you're working around food all day? That's tough.
Yeah.
Right. And to lose 185 pounds while spending your day with food.
Yeah.
That's a lot of courage, a lot of strength.
I'm back on the sober train right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Congratulations.
It's been a week. You know, I like to think that ain't shit,
No,
but it is something, you know.
Congratulations, man.
No, but it is tough, you know.
I bet.
We're in this industry,
Yeah.
you know, walking through here, it's like, you want to have
Right.
a drink? You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
And normally we do have a beer on the show, but we knew you were coming today, and I know that's something you've been working at. So we're having coffee
thank
today.
you. Respect.
And even like Ben and I would get together a lot and have a beer, but then we realized we can't just. Our relationship can't be based around beer all the time. So like, let's go for a walk sometimes. You know what I mean? But it is such a central part of our social culture here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm in the bar business, and your business wouldn't be really thriving without the alcohol either.
That's right.
But it's a tough line to walk.
I mean, the Maritime Express, the restaurant was an afterthought.
Right.
You know, originally they opened that, you know, they started that business, you know, focused on the cider.
Yeah.
And that was just to be a tap room, you know, with a little snack menu. And then, but I mean, all the pieces were there.
Yeah.
So that's when they came knocking on my door. And what's funny is that, like, I had been in that space before to look at the kitchen. You know,
Okay.
It was JD, I want to say, older fellow. He had invited me, brought me in the kitchen, and I mean, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, so much work, and then just like I had so many questions. I'm like, what are you looking for out of me? Like, I guess I could do food, but like, are you also looking for money? Because I don't have that. Because to me, it was just like, you know,
a lot of work.
It was a
Beautiful
lot of work.
building.
It is.
And if anyone hasn't been there, check it out. Maritime
yeah.
Express in Kentville. It's an old train building, right?
The old train hotel.
Train hotel.
You know, I imagine like it was very luxurious back in the day. You know, they kept up with some of that old charm for sure.
Right. The same, like the CN had like the Pines and Digby and like the Banff Springs Hotel. There was a lot of luxurious hotels. Chateau Frontenac, I believe, was part of that whole hotel chain across the country. And I think this would have been part of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we have the old blueprints. It's kind of nuts to look at. You know, it was a beast. I mean, they had walk-in coolers in the basement that were just like for fish, and one other walk-in for poultry.
Yeah. They weren't.
Well, here we are. We just have a broom closet for our walk-in fridge.
Yeah. I imagine there was some fancy events thrown at that place back in the day.
Yeah, and you know that's something we're trying to do. You know, we're not saying yes to everything anymore. When we first started, we were saying yes to everything. You know, and started questioning if some of these events, do they make sense?
Right.
You know, it's very time
the same thing. I'd say yes to every beer festival, every event, all that stuff, and then you start to realize after a while,
time is money, man.
And it doesn't always work. Like, I'm not going to close my restaurant on a Friday night for 20 people from a little company to come who don't know the place, aren't familiar, probably aren't even going to drink. You know, like it just doesn't make sense to do some of these things. But like when you first start, you're just throwing everything at the wall, hoping it'll stick.
Yeah, no doubt. You're trying to get your name out there, and I get that. You know, I did that with the catering, and just I'm at a point now where I'm over that. It's nice to be able to say no.
And it takes a little bit of self-confidence sets in after a while. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a little bit of maturity and self-confidence. It's hard.
Yeah. Hopefully people are listening here, because like a lot of people don't get it. Like, you know, even with like outside catering, you know, bringing the restaurant into somebody's home, it's just like, you know, they expect to just pay for the food. They're not even factoring in, you know, all the back and forth, you know, the phone calls, the conceptualizing, and the time and energy that goes behind, you know, some of these requests. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No, it
doesn't.
Know,
I have these conversations with Jason Lynch at Le Caveau and Cumin, and you know, he's scaled back as well. You know, it's just like, it's got to be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, because
not only money-wise, but like
match,
for your health.
Because the food industry is a tough one. You must know this. You got to math. Just putting beautiful food on the plate is not the biggest part of the job. You got to make sure that the math works.
That's right.
Of what you're putting on the plate, or you're not going to get to play restaurant forever.
I know you know, this restaurant industry is you got the shittiest margins.
Yeah.
You know, some of the lowest salaries,
and highest waste.
Yeah.
No weekends, no evenings off.
Exactly.
Like the demands, the physical demands, the personal demands, the sacrifice that you take to do that is, it's up there.
Because you end up working when everyone else is trying to take a break, basically, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because you do all the New Year's.
You get Monday off. You can hang out with hairdressers. That's
you
it.
Hang out on Monday morning.
If you're lucky, you get Sunday off too. Yeah.
Hey, but at least if you need to go to the
Monday.
bank, at least if you need to go to the bank, it's open when you're off, right?
One day a week. It is very demanding.
I typically schedule myself to have Sunday, Monday off, and it was unfortunate that we were short staffed. I've been working more 6 days, Tuesday to Sunday. But yeah, usually that Sunday is just like, okay, I'm gonna relax, recharge a little bit, and then Monday it's exactly that. Do your errands. And
you guys close on Mondays as well?
We started closing on Mondays again.
Yeah, we are too.
We were open Mondays throughout the summer, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a project, I guess. See what it looks like for years to come. But
it's nice to have a day where you don't have to worry about the phone call, even if you're not on.
I know.
Because I'm sure I'm an owner. You're the head chef.
Yeah.
Even if you're not on duty and the restaurant's open, you're going to get a phone call.
Oh yeah, I'm
gonna
available.
happen. Yeah.
And now I live in the building. Gosh.
Oh.
He's not answering his phone. Quickly, he went upstairs.
Just fake dead.
You know where my car looks like. You know where I live. Yeah. Can't hide.
Yeah. No, it's a nonstop thing. And coming out of the farming industry, I was kind of prepared for it. I used to feed 30,000 animals a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's not quite so many, and nobody here bites me. But it's very demanding.
Yeah. No, there's a lot.
It's
of
not
planning.
9 to 5.
No.
Because even when you're not there, you're worrying. Like maybe you have a finicky fridge. Is the fridge working? Is the groceries going to show up? What is going on? Right?
The staff going to show up.
Staff going to show up. Yeah. It's a very demanding job, and
No,
I think our communities really benefit from having these locally owned artistic places.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm afraid that the way the economy is going and how hard it is for small businesses, someday we're just going to have the Boston Pizzas and the Jack Astors and the Montanas and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad they're there. But if the big businesses continue to gobble up the service industry and the small businesses like the ones we're part of fall away, like what are we left with?
Right.
What kind of life does that leave in our communities? What kind of rich culture does that have? They're not going to buy from the local farmers.
No.
Those big corporations.
Well, they can't because they don't have the.
Right.
They can't sort of use their buying power to get, and they don't have the margin to do it. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a big business like that, and you're strictly ordering from Cisco, there's a lot of rebates. You know the rebate programs and.
They've got that buying power of not just one store, but they have
why would
many
they
locations.
Go anywhere else,
right?
Sourcing out, quality ingredients,
right. And there's no creativity because some chef somewhere.
It's already cooked.
It's
it's in the bag.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no creativity. There's no local component to that. It's just big business.
But then people also expect the little local places to be able to compete on price.
Right.
That's where they fuck you. Right?
Yeah. That's where they fuck you. And it's good that people understand these things and understand that they need to support and encourage these local businesses, because if we lose them, there's going to be a big hole in our communities. And I'm sure we both know a lot of people that had great restaurants in the past 4 or 5 years through COVID and all this inflation that have gone out of business, and those places are lost.
Yeah.
No,
probably
lost forever. A lot of it.
Stuff like morale and depression sets in.
Right.
I would imagine that's what it would look like if that's the future.
Right.
Of just those big businesses. I would never do that.
Would you want to go to work at one of these big stores?
No.
No. Neither would I. It seems a little soulless. I mean, there's no way to be creative.
Exactly.
I almost bought a Pizza Delight franchise like 16 years ago, something like that.
Right.
It was very close. It was like on the final meeting, and we were looking at putting the money down on it. I'm like, but I don't think I want to do this. There's nothing against Pizza Delight. It's great, but there's no room to be creative.
Yeah.
You just follow the formula they give you, and hopefully you make money at the end of the year. Like, I just don't want to do that.
Have you had the pizza in Port Williams?
No.
Pizza Robust?
No.
He used to own House of Dough,
which
is pretty popular, New Minas. Not to tell his story, but he opened a small spot in Port Williams, actually, which is Ross Patterson's the noodle guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
His old production spot.
Oh cool.
You know, Ross was pretty small scale back then, but now this space has been taken over, and it's quality pizza, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's fermented dough, and
Nice.
they do it really well. And he's closed on Sunday, Mondays too.
Oh, you're going to get hungry in the valley on Monday. That's for sure.
But his hours are, not to say interesting, but they close at 7.
Yeah.
At night.
You got to have a life.
He's a family guy, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if there's something,
and if you want to
that's
keep the
happening,
quality high, someone who knows what they're doing got to be there.
No, I love the family values.
Yeah.
You know, it's important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to maintain that type of relationship with your little ones. You know, he'll close at 6 if his kid has a soccer game at 6:30.
Yeah.
You know, I respect that a lot, man.
And hopefully he's built a relationship with the community that respects that and will support that.
Yeah. No, I think that it's been well received. The community has embraced it for sure.
That's cool.
And you should go there.
It's
really good.
I will, yeah. Well, that's the thing I think that a lot of the big companies don't get as well, is this connection with the community.
Yeah.
Like I brew the beer, I deliver the kegs, I work the restaurant, I'm serving tables.
You can't go anywhere without saying hi to.
Yeah, but people love it. I enjoy it.
I love it.
And they enjoy it. I think they keep coming back unless I'm annoying them. I don't know. But I'm sure I've been at your place and you've come out to the table and said hello many times. Sure. Yeah, like I
saw you at Troy not that long ago.
Yeah, that's right. You don't get that just everywhere.
No.
Right?
No, I love the
part of the charm of it.
Yeah, it's
it's about
I used to have a booth at the Wolfville Farmers Market.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of made a name for myself there as well. Just doing bagels, putting a face behind the business when we were catering. I've developed so many relationships that I still maintain today. And, you know, like I said, it doesn't matter where I go. I'm bound to know somebody.
Yep. Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like food is such a personal, relational, loving thing, right? Like we've all had like a grandma, you know, she just feeds you with love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or an aunt that just had this special dish, or, you know, mothers, whatever. Like it's a very personal thing.
Yeah. It's a love language.
It is a love language. Yeah. You just don't get that through a drive-through.
No.
Yeah.
I like the drive-through once in a while, though.
Dave loves to drive through once in a while, but it's not the same kind of experience.
It's the chef life, I guess. You know, at the end of the day, a big bag of chips and a slice of pizza.
Yeah, but I'm glad I get to know everybody from the farmer or the fish person or the butcher right straight through to the customer.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That I get to know people all along that chain.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
It's a bit of a privilege because there's not a lot of places you could do that, actually.
I don't think a lot of places do. Yeah.
No.
But it's a beautiful, kind of rare thing. It's something I'm worried we're going to lose. Like I said, Gavin Robichaud, you know Gavin Robichaud? He was a bartender at Whiskey Teller, and he works with Still Fire guys. He was on the podcast a while ago, and he said that he thinks that people being served by people will be something in the future that only super rich will be able to afford.
Oh, wow.
That it'll be down to like robotics making things and drive-throughs and stuff like that. But he believes that in the not too distant future, it'll probably be just the super wealthy that can afford this like table service chef kind of experience, which I'd be sad to see.
Yeah.
But we're kind of going that way with everything in our world.
We are.
In the economy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's too bad, but yes, you're right. We're already seeing in Halifax. I believe there's an Asian restaurants with, you know, robots bringing the dishes out.
Yeah. Well, I know during COVID, like all the places with drive-throughs were booming. The drive-throughs were booming, and our restaurants were closed up. You know. Like,
I know it was a interesting time.
Interesting as a word. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, not all of us made it through.
Right.
We saw so many restaurants close, and you know, not everyone can pivot.
Right.
You know, depending what the business model looked like, I guess. You know, you kind of had to reset, rethink, and, you know, try to offer something new. Is it going to work?
Regroup a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a challenging thing. It can be a very humbling thing.
Absolutely.
Humility is, I've been thinking a lot about that lately. You know, like, especially I think in our culture, like being a man, especially, we're expected to like protect and provide. A lot of our value in our culture is based on what we can accomplish, we can do.
Yeah.
You know, like we're capable men. We have these stickers, you know, that we have on our ego, say, you know, I've done this and I've done that and all these things. And it's a point of pride, and it's you know, I've accomplished these things. Yeah. Sometimes we fail.
Yeah.
Sometimes we lose, and it's hard to keep that confidence.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep that. It's good to have humility, but it's good to know that you can contribute something too. I don't know what I'm saying here, but it's something I've been wrestling with. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do know what you're saying.
Because there's failures. Our failures can mature us and grow us and build us up as much as our wins and successes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like a song.
Maybe. Is it a song?
I don't know.
It does sound like a song.
Maybe. Yeah. No, it's definitely something I've been wrestling with lately, because the way the economy is going and the way things are going, like, we're not really guaranteed on anything. Mm-hmm. The way the world's going closer to wars and all these things, like,
hey, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you make it to the top, right?
Yeah.
You know,
and what is the top? Sometimes what you perceive to be the top isn't necessarily the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I grew up with my parents, you know, looking at happiness as wealth. You know, so maybe that is the top. You know, if you're content and happy, maybe you've made it.
Yeah. You say they saw happiness as wealth.
Yes.
Just, not material wealth, but happiness.
Exactly.
As wealth. Yeah. But
no, I try not to, you know, compare myself to others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I live my life by my own. Mm-hmm. Actually, I have very few tattoos, but one of them is in Asian characters or Chinese characters, and that's what it translates to. It's, you know, I try not to follow the crowd. You know, go about my business. I mean, some people are competitive. I am as well, more so in sports than, you know, than my personal life, I guess. Very humble person, you know. Again, great opportunities that come my way, but I'm still like, what's like, this is really happening. Yeah. I'm excited about the future as well. You know, there's a lot of optimism there for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing.
Yeah, no
it
doubt.
really is.
You know, you know, and I've been thinking about, like, what is my next step?
Right.
You know, looking at this industry, I'm gonna have to figure that out. You know, I'm not gonna be at Maritime forever.
Mm-hmm. And how old are you?
I'm 45.
45. I'm 47. So yeah, we're about that same kind of stage of life when when you get to this age, you start to evaluate. You know, people say you have one life to live, but at best we have half a life left to live.
Yeah.
At best.
I've had many lives already.
Yeah, but like, you're starting to realize we're not immortal.
No.
And what is the purpose of it all? And what do I want to accomplish? What do we want to leave as our legacy? I mean, Ray Bear was talking about, he's older than us, but he's thinking about that. Like, what does he want to leave as his legacy? Yeah. You know, how will we be remembered? Mm-hmm. What is the next thing? And I think men our age start to think more about our character than our accomplishments.
Right.
Yeah. Like, how will we remembered?
Right.
In the relationships.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think we're still pretty young.
You know? Oh yeah.
45.
45 is different than it used to be.
There's many work years ahead.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm in it right now. You know, I'm in the, you know, building those memories and accomplishments, and you know, I'm super proud of what I've been able to accomplish in this short period of time.
It's amazing.
But I understand that there's so much more to come, you know, and I should be pretty excited about, you know, not knowing what's to come. Yeah. You know,
that's one thing that's clear, right? We didn't see the last shit coming. You're not going to see the next shit coming either.
Exactly. No.
No. Well, it's exciting. I study a lot about the Stoic philosophies, like Marcus Aurelius and all those guys, like 2,000 years ago. They had this very interesting philosophy about how, because these guys were like emperors, and they had a lot of pressure. And that's, you know, we have a lot of pressure. We have like our families, we have our businesses, we have our staff, the people that we're responsible for. There's a lot to juggle. And he believed that the most important thing was about his character. It wasn't the win or the loss. It was about, can I be proud of the character that I've displayed? Have I honored my character? Have I compromised my character? You know, like that's a big part of what I try to focus on now is like, maybe I win, maybe I lose, but how did I take it?
Exactly. Composure.
Yeah, composure. Have I compromised my values?
Yes.
In my win or my loss?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
I know.
You start to get older, those are the kind of things
I know.
You think.
We get tested sometimes.
We do.
I'm being tested right now. You know, like I'm going through a separation. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of proud of myself. Old me would have, you know.
That's what it's about, right?
Lost it on so many different levels.
Sometimes people put a lot of value in the things you do. They don't always celebrate you for the things that you don't do. Right. Like I could have punched that guy, but no one's ever going to punch pat you on the back for not punching somebody, or for not being rude and saying something. But I think the character sometimes is as much about the things that you don't do.
Mm-hmm. And even if you're to like go back into your old ways, you're pretty quick to recognize it,
right,
and make that adjustment.
Yeah.
Which is for what I'm finding within myself.
Because we can pretty easily
Maturing,
slip back into the default mode.
Yeah.
But then you're like, this hasn't worked for me.
Yeah.
This hasn't worked for me.
Instead of 45, but I'm more like 38, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it's true. I take a lot more time to like slow down and think things out, or feel like, okay, I feel this feeling coming over me. It's like, this is my ego wants to defend me right here, right now, and I need to resist that.
Yeah. We all have egos, man.
Yeah. I'm like sometimes serving tables. Like I love serving tables, and sometimes you'll get a guest that doesn't know who you are, and they sometimes people treat servers with disrespect.
Oh, it's the worst.
And it'll happen to me once in a while.
Yeah.
And that part of me wants to say, do you know I own this place and half this block?
Yeah.
I want to say that, but then I'm like, don't be an arrogant asshole, Les, because it doesn't matter if I'm a regular server or if I'm the owner. This person is in the wrong.
Yeah.
And by you telling them that you own the place doesn't make you any more important than a server working for minimum wage. Right. So just bite your tongue, take it, be cool.
And that's why I don't read many reviews. Some I've learned not to read them. Yeah. Some folks can be pretty nasty, and it's like they live for that.
Yeah.
It's understanding that as well.
And it's a habit of theirs.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not the only one that they've torn apart. They probably tore apart me too.
Yeah.
And they take pleasure in it.
They do.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have any idea of the hard work it takes to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
Create something from nothing.
Yeah.
And do it and show up and make consistently every day. And sometimes you're going to drop the ball. It happens.
No doubt.
This shit's going to happen.
I mean, in a perfect world, yes.
Yeah. Even the best of us are going to have failures.
Oh, no doubt.
Because there's a lot of things that have to go right in the day to put out a perfect product and service.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not all going to hit it all the time.
No.
And people can be so cruel. I always respect when people will send me a private message and say, look, we love you guys. We appreciate what you do, but this happened.
Yeah.
I love that. That's very gracious.
I got one of those yesterday. We did a pre-order takeout first thing in the day. I get a message, private message, we shat the bed.
Yeah.
But, I like hearing this stuff. Here's an opportunity for growth.
And a chance to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst is when the people say, the server asks them, is everything okay? They don't say anything, and then they go to their car and make a nasty review. That's not giving us a chance to fix it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's not fair. Kick us while we're down. Yeah. But and the people that go to a restaurant opening week and then shit on it.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do that, folks. If you're a critical person, don't even go there.
My biggest
opening day
is people that show up before you're open.
Yeah.
Like they show up 10 minutes early, and expect, for the hospitality to be like top notch, right away. It's just like, you guys, don't you understand that maybe we're still prepping, maybe front of the house is still, they're doing their prep as well. No, there's a lot that goes behind a restaurant.
It's character
unfortunately,
building.
I don't know when, is the right time that you could actually try to explain all this stuff to somebody, Same with the catering, you know, is what I was talking about. It's just like, you know, who's counting these hours? You know, you expect to pay just for the food, and, you know, when you put it all together, I should actually be charging you like $100 an hour. Yeah. Which lawyers are very good at, by the way. I'm learning that the hard way.
And most
days.
people, 99% of the people are lovely and very understanding and supportive and will back you up.
Yeah.
They do. Like, I'm sure you guys experience that. People here in the Valley are great people. It's just sometimes.
It's not them who leave the reviews, is it?
No. Well, some of them do, and that's appreciated.
Some of them
too.
do, but it's people who are content tend not to. They just, that was a nice day, and then they're distracted. They're done. It's only the people who've either had something go horrifically wrong and they're a bit bitter about it, or occasionally somebody who's had something go very right or something. But it's usually no one in the middle leaves a review.
No. But it's very humbling. It'll humble you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few bad reviews, like, okay.
Yeah. And it's good for us.
Maybe we are doing something wrong.
Yeah, sometimes we do. It is very humbling to read those things or to get a complaint from a person. You know, sometimes you ride high on the successes of this show and that show and all these things, but it's like, oh, fuck.
I know.
We never quite arrived. It keeps us humble.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I used to think about that a lot, actually. It's just like, where are the good reviews?
Yeah.
You know, when do we get a good pat on the back here? You're doing a good job. You know, why are we so focused on the bad stuff? I'm kind of over it, I guess. You know,
but it is a very normal thing for us to want to have status in our craft.
Yeah.
You know? You wanna know that, like, someone else who it's great when another chef comes in and says, you know, Steph, you've done a great job on this. You know, like, that means a lot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We want to be recognized amongst our peers, you know, and there's restaurant awards, stuff like that. It's kind of nice to have that. Like, people want to know that all their effort matters.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I've heard there was like
Well, I do that on social media for my team, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I've had success. But it's not just me, you know, like, I wouldn't be able to do these things if, you know, the team wasn't holding it down. You know, and I give kudos to those guys, you know, in the kitchen. They're super talented people. They're hard workers. And, you know, I'll shout them out on social media. If no one else will, I will.
Yeah.
You know,
because you're only as good as your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be there all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, in a great chef, the guests shouldn't know who made their dish.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
you should have that kitchen running in a way that
I'll
make it
know,
or
you know,
another guy made it. It's still top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I used to try to do everything in the kitchen, especially, you know, operating my own catering business. But, you know, very few people, not really having a staff. You know, it's just like I thought, you know, I needed to do everything. But, like, I've let that go now. You know, no, it's not. So, you know, you designate certain things to different people in the kitchen, you know, work with their strengths. What else are they willing to learn? So, you know, they can take that off your plate. And I've learned that over the years. It's like, it's not just me, you know?
Well, and it's not sustainable to do it that way.
No.
It's not physically or mentally sustainable to be in that kitchen all the time. It isn't. You know? Like, life has a definite balance to it. You know, you're talking about, like, having young kids, you know. How old is your kid?
He's 13.
13, yeah. I've got 22-year-old, 19-year-old, and soon to be 16-year-old. And they were at a very, you know, crucial part, like 8 years ago when I'm starting the company and I'm pouring everything, trying to start this company. That's when they were in their, like, preteen and, you know, preteen, early teen years. Yeah. And you miss time. You don't get back.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a part of you know, you're doing it for them in a way because you're trying to give them a life, you know. But sometimes you're missing time that you don't get back.
No, that's right.
Yeah. That same
but
time.
no, I try to have a pretty well balanced life now, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
it's good.
I'm not doing everything by myself, and you know, I'm valuing my time with family. I need me time as well, you know. So what does that look like? That's where the foraging comes in.
Yeah.
You know, you might have seen, if you do follow me on social media, you see me playing basketball. You know, it's and thankfully, you know, I'm living through vicariously. Is that how you say that? Through my son these days.
Yeah.
You know, he sparked up that old basketball guy in me. You know, it brought me back to my teens, and I'm having so much fun. You know, getting back to the park and you know, we're sneakerheads, you know,
yeah.
Just stuff like that, you know. I'm finally finding a good balance now at this age.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
To like, I find when you're raising kids, you get to be a little bit of a kid again yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's so many cool things that come back around, like the Transformers, and Star Wars, and all these things that you were into as a kid, and it's so cool when you get to share that with your kid.
Yeah.
Sports or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and those moments they'll never forget that.
No.
You know, those are important things. An important part of balance. You never get those opportunities back.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah.
I know I'm having a good time these
That's
days.
good, man.
Yeah.
You seem like you've been riding high lately.
Yeah,
That's
no doubt. Super happy, you know, these days. People are seeing that, you know, like they're complimenting me and it's just like, oh gosh, you look so much happier.
Joy.
For whatever reason.
Just being in the moment and enjoying things. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I've learned a lot in the last year, a little over a year, that I have to take time to look after myself.
Yeah.
It's been...
Hey, I started taking vitamins.
Yeah.
Lately,
Ooh, look at that.
Booking myself appointments at the optometrist and stuff like that. I'm like, gosh, my vision's starting to go. Old me is just like, you know, you're, you know, a young male.
Yep. You
all
just
the testosterone,
power through it.
Just like, oh,
don't
Superman.
need days
like,
off. Or when you have days off, you don't shut the brain off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get better, trying to get better at that. But like, yoga, exercise, cold plunge, running, diet, all that kind of stuff. You need it.
Yeah.
To keep the body in shape and the mind in shape and turn off the brain and be present in relationships.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're physically present, but we're not mentally present because our mind is on how to fix this or that. And it's a real discipline to be fully present at work and be fully present in your alone time and be fully present in your relationships. Like that's a hard thing to do. But I think anyone that
don't
performs...
get me wrong, I'm still a scatterbrain.
Yeah, but anyone who performs at a high level of anything... You got to get that down. Yeah. You really got to get that down. It's been something I've struggled with.
Yeah. It's finding a new routine, I think.
Yeah.
We talk about spirituality and foraging, and that's what it does for me. It's just, you know, brain is shut off. You know, I'm only focused on what I'm looking for, you know.
Right.
I've done this with rock hounding as well. It's just like, you know, hit Amethyst Cove and I'm just out there looking for...
And it's meditative in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Like any time when your mind and your heart and your body are in the same place at once, that's peace.
Yeah.
You know? And there's been times, you know, when we've been in jobs, we're doing a job that we hate, or we're in a relationship that we're not satisfied, we're in a, you know, you're spending time with your kid, but your mind's somewhere else. Yeah. It's like a real purity and a real peace in life when your mind and your heart and your body can all be in one place. Yeah. If you're foraging, like your mind, your heart, and your body are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's beautiful.
It
you don't always get that much as a young man because we're very scattered.
Yeah,
especially the creative types among us.
You know, also, everything when you're a young man, everything is fighting against your peace, really, in your head. Everything, there's hormones, there's anger, there's thinking you're great, ego.
Yeah,
and this
trying
is
to
where,
prove yourself.
You know, addiction comes in.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm an addict. I've been since I was a teenager. And, you know, and it was always that, you know, it's just it wasn't really, yes, I had fun, you know, partying, drinking, and drugs or whatever, but a lot of the times, you know, I was trying to suppress something or, you know, just
try to escape something.
Escape this very, very dark place, you know. So back on that sober train and already feel awesome.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. You know, it's December's not always that month that you want to do that. You know, folks tend to do a dry January, February.
Maybe that's really smart though, because you don't like delay it. You're like, well, I'm just going to do it now.
Yeah.
You don't sort of think, oh well, because otherwise there's always something else. There's always going to be, well, if I don't drink, you know, I'm going to miss all the parties in December. There's going to be something else in January, and then there's going to be February. And
you got to stop making excuses for yourself.
But there's great ways to enjoy. Really like I think almost every restaurant now carries like non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. Well, my partner and I, we've been ordering stuff offline, and you know, like stuff like non-alcoholic margaritas. Yeah. There's some stuff out there that actually.
Oh, there's like really good stuff out there. Yeah.
Still do the rimmer, and it's fun. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll still I didn't drink at all till I was 32 because I was afraid of alcoholism from my family. So I stayed right away from it. And then in my 30s, I realized, yeah, I can drink responsibly. And I do. I don't get drunk at all. But a lot of times when I'll go with Ben, I'll have like one beer and then I'll switch over to non-alcoholic because I don't really want to get drunk.
Yeah.
Water. We do water quite a lot, actually.
Water, yeah. But I drink non-alcoholic beer a lot. I probably spend more on non-alcoholic beer when I'm out and about than I do on alcoholic beer. Just because it is poison. We don't need a lot of it.
Oh, my body tells me to fuck off.
But some people can't stop at one. Like I have some people really close to me that one leads to 10 and they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that a form of alcoholism though? If you can't, when you start, you can't stop. Isn't that part of it?
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know.
But there's a lot of great options now. It is kind of a shame that so much of our culture bases the social events around alcohol.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's hard, especially around the holidays.
No, it is. But I asked myself, I'm like, why even have one? Like, what's that doing for me?
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to get out of the old routines of I'm just gonna have one after work, which leads to 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And money wise, just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's a big Yeah, that's true.
No,
but your mind kind of gets funny because when you've had one though, like it does kind of your mind gets foggy. It does impact your judgment really quick. Even if like there's no. Even when I was,
whatever it looks like, it leads to something else.
Yeah, it's just a snowball effect from there.
Unfortunately for me, like those haven't been great things. You
right.
know,
yeah.
Alcohol, drugs, late nights has never done me any favors.
Yeah.
You know, so trying to focus on.
And it's a little easier to get away with that when we're young. You don't need as much sleep, and your body can take a boost. But when you start to get older, it catches up.
Your body starts to physically tell you, nah, you maybe you should be done with this. It kind of physically starts to rebel, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like I don't feel like I have addiction, but I'm still like I'm just reducing it, just keeping it in its place more.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think everybody should do that. I mean, here we are. Our livings are basically from selling alcohol.
Yeah.
But still, it's not.
But it can be done responsibly. That's the whole thing, and you got to be aware of and not sort of being. A lot of people are in denial about how it's affecting them, right?
Yeah.
And think people with health problems, and then even the doctors told them to stop drinking, but they don't stop because it's probably not really that, and then they don't take care of themselves.
Yeah, it does catch up with people.
It does.
Yeah, it always scared me with my grandfather. He was very, very kind when he was sober, but then when he get drunk, he would be very mean, and that scared me. So I didn't want anything to do with that scary stuff because I never saw it used responsibly in my childhood. The only person I saw that drank was my grandfather.
Yeah.
And
I've had loved ones say that about me. You go from it's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Depending. For me, it was more dark alcohol. And the sugars, not being indigenous, not being able to break down those sugars, and kind of like lose my mind, and not really care about anything.
Yeah.
Rum, rye. I used to say rhinoceros, off rye, and Delmont rum.
Do you have a problem with sugar?
Oh yeah, well, I'm not diabetic, but breaking it down, especially with alcohol.
Yeah.
Because that hasn't been around for indigenous people for all that long.
No.
Like to try to have your body be immune to it, if you will. Like it's.
I don't think that's something many people have paid attention to till recently. Is that because not every, genetic background had these foods to deal with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of indigenous people that have dairy allergies. Wheat allergies, sugar problems,
obesity,
but they didn't. We didn't develop with these things. So of course, our body. Because I can't do dairy and I can't do sugar. Yeah. But it's probably because I'm part Mi'kmaq, right? I just can't. Sugar makes me an asshole.
Really?
Oh yeah, I can't.
Love my candy,
I can't do sugar at all. If I have like a full meal, like a big steak and stuff like that, I can have like a little dessert after. But if I have sugar on an empty stomach, I am a dick.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I get dizzy and sick and my vision blurs and I'm cranky. I think hypoglycemic, I guess. Like I have like too much insulin. I go straight from I skip the high and go to the crash, basically.
Right.
Yeah, it's not good.
It sounds really shit.
It is shit. But I just realized like I just can't do sugar, so I stay away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I do my own baking, and I just bake things with a lot less sugar. Or like I'll make a pumpkin pie with like half the sugar it normally has.
Yeah. There's a lot of wordplay with your
Extra
name,
eggs.
actually. Less bar,
Yeah.
less sugar.
Less beer, less sugar. But but sugar really isn't good for us because in nature, the sweetest thing you would come across is like a fruit or something like that, right? And you'd eat it, and it would come with fiber.
And it's not refined as well.
Right, yeah. We take refined sugar and pump it right into us like a Coca-Cola or something like that. And we wonder why we're not well. Paired with a bunch of chemicals.
Yeah.
Try choking down as much sugar as is in one can of Coke, just dry. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. When you start,
I get the shivers thinking.
You can't dissolve that in water without like heating it up.
Coke. I used to love Coke. I'm more of a Pepsi guy these days. I don't know why. Maybe I'm looking for that burn that Pepsi gives you, but Coke, I just find like it's like caramel or syrup. You know.
I still love the Coke Zero once in a while, though. I will get a Coke Zero once in a while. Yeah.
I've switched.
Well, I know the ladies love the DC, the Diet Coke.
I can't do Diet Coke.
Me neither. I don't know what it is.
I like
There's
Coke
some
Zero
aftertaste to Diet Coke that I can't
the aspartame.
do. Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's not good. I think Coke Zero is sucralose or something. It's a different one.
So it's a different,
more modern.
It's a different sugar substitute.
Yeah, it's different.
It does taste better. It tastes. You
but
don't.
Still, none of it's good for us.
You don't get the hit off it. Like if you're drinking it, it doesn't. Because when you drink actual Coca-Cola, it gives you like almost like a dopamine rush or something. I think it must be.
I'm sure
that.
it does.
But you don't get that from the Coke Zero. But apart from that,
it's the sugar. Yeah.
You can't substitute like 8 grams of sugar straight into the veins.
Cleaning up the diet is. Cleaning up the diet is pretty important.
No. Yeah, because you would probably not have had as much sugar in a year as you could do in one can of Coke back in the day, right?
That's a lot. The Canadian Indigenous folks would have had maple syrup, but that's only like a short time of the year.
Yeah.
That was
and again,
sticking around all the time.
It's not refined as well the same way. It breaks down differently when it's like refined.
Oh, probably.
Birch syrup as well.
Yeah.
But you
syrups
need
and honeys.
So much more, birch water than maple water to make that syrup.
Yeah. No, it's probably something we need to pay more attention to is what is your genetic makeup and what did your ancestors evolve consuming?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like, I heard a study like in Europe, they believe that people started eating dairy during like a famine because the cows could go and get the grass and then people would eat the dairy. And a lot of people that couldn't process the dairy just died. And then the people that had the right enzymes or whatever to consume that and break that down survived and passed that genetics onto their ancestors. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We would adapt to our environments.
Yeah. The evolution is crazy.
And if your people, were in North America for tens of thousands of years eating moose and fish, it's probably more so what you should be eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably how your body is developed to survive.
I know.
Yeah. Just vegetables and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, we know Indigenous people have been trying to argue that with, the regulations of what we're serving in restaurants. And, it's quite unfortunate that we're not going back to that, eating game, wild game in restaurants. And, I sneak it in sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
when
lie.
When you're eating things that are harming your physical health, it affects your mood, your mental health. It affects everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Like I know, it took me till my 40s to realize that sugar made me an asshole.
You just thought you were an asshole 30%.
I just thought I was an asshole. Yeah. And then sometimes the thing that you shouldn't have the most is what you crave the most.
Yes.
Like it was literally an addiction for me too. Like the sugar, just like
sugar
is
super addictive.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
And then you realize I don't like the person I am when I'm doing that, so I have to stop.
Yeah.
I genuinely have been finding it harder to cut down my sugar intake than to stop smoking.
Yeah,
like, genuinely harder.
And my son's the same way. Like I found him one day just an emotional wreck, and I'm like. He's like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm like, you had sugar today. He's like, no, I didn't. Yeah. So yeah, his girlfriend gave him Myconikes that morning on an empty stomach. Yeah. And it set off his whole day. Like his blood sugar was set off and his mood and his temper and everything was off for the whole day.
Well, hey, my doctor said like if I'm to pick sugar or smoke cigarettes, he says to smoke cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
cigarettes are better than sugar now.
It's not good.
No, they're both not good, but like that's how bad sugar is. You know? Like I've cut back on it a lot, which is why, you know, I elected to go with a black coffee here today. And, you know, it's,
I can't do sugar or dairy. Someone gives me a double-double.
Pivoting within yourself. You know,
I'd rather punch myself in the face than drink a double-double.
Gosh, I can't do Tim Hortons anymore.
No.
Like it tastes like stevia.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. I gotta
It's very inconsistent.
Yeah. So what's next? What exciting things do you guys have coming up?
I had somebody. Actually, I'm doing a pop-up, Horton Ridge Malt.
Okay.
They're going to have a little pop-up series.
Nice.
Might be starting this month.
Okay.
But mine will be early January. You know, probably looking at like a 3-course meal, pairing it with the beers. Should be a lot of fun. No, I just go with the flow and let things come my way.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned going through a separation right now, so a lot of my focus is towards, you know, what does that look like, you know? So
That's
trying
tough.
to figure all that out, and at the same time, you know, in the busy season with the restaurant, so you know, I think it was a good move to stop drinking right now and just really try to be focused on my career, but also, you know, my son. And, you know, I'm optimistic that, you know, some more great stuff's going to come my way. And they have. I mean, like, you know, I'm here with you today. And like that same week, you know, I've had a catering gig come my way, a couple of other things. One person reached out to me. They're writing an article for Food and Wine magazine, but the digital mag, if you will, you know, focused on. She was obsessed with, you know, some of the stuff I did with berries when I did a Fall Flavors event in Begwit First Nation in PEI, and she was obsessed with what I did, and you know that's why she's reached out. So you know, little things like that. And
That's cool.
Yeah. I
No,
take it as a win.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, relationships is it's a distracting thing. It's a hard thing. Like it's great when it's great.
Yeah.
We do need relationship.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a new one right now, and I couldn't be happier.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's moving fast, but like it's just one of those things that it just feels right and normal. You know, I feel like I've known this person for years. And I think that's when you know type thing.
Yeah, we're all too old to waste time as well.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, Ben. Happily married for too many damn years. Thanks. I'm the only single guy here. Thanks for rubbing it in, guys. Yeah, no, but I think it is something I study a lot about is like very successful, high functioning people in their fields. Like it takes a partnership. Yeah. It really does. Like it's a big change. It's a big difference to have someone in your corner that believes in you and supports you and builds you up, a place to heal, you know, when you fail.
Yeah.
Place to go lick your wounds.
To remind you not to have sugar so you're not an asshole.
Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah, that's good though.
No, she's been a great support. You know, she's even helped me with a lot of stuff with, you know, the back and forth with the emails. You know, sometimes it can be, you know, like it can be overwhelming sometimes. Like, oh shit, I got to get back to this person. It's like 10 days later or something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like, she's in HR.
That's good.
You know, she's smart like that. You know, she could whip something up within minutes where I could be sitting there like, gosh, like, does this sound okay? Like, trying to get back to someone. And
having a partnership with different gifts and stuff, like sometimes what can be so easy for them can be so difficult for you. You know? And the other way around, right? Yeah. Like if there's something really heavy to lift, there's someone to do that, right?
We're both only children though, which is, you know, what's interesting is that we don't always need to be talking. You know, we could be in each other's presence without even saying anything for, you know, an hour or two, and it doesn't feel weird. You know,
That's
love that.
Important. That's really important though.
Yeah.
To be able to have a silence without it being awkward is a sign of a healthy relationship.
Yeah, for sure. I found that.
I think relationships are so important. I think there's a lot of people there's fewer people entering into relationships now. The stats are showing people are spending more time alone.
Right.
there's like a breakdown in the institution of marriage and relationships.
Yeah.
The online dating thing has made it seem like, oh, you can just, if you don't like this one, you can just get a new one, you know? The relationships have been more disposable, it seems like. Yeah. But I think it really is
interesting magazine.
It's healthy for us to have that connection, but it's also the compromise that you have to do to be in a relationship. I think is healthy for us too. It's humbling. Yeah. It's good.
It's like that big Sears catalog, like you just, you know, especially
just never
the wish
ends.
list one, like never ends, but you just keep flipping it.
I was on and off, and I've been off that stuff.
So crazy.
I just can't do it.
It sounds really stressful to me.
It is stressful. It's bullshit.
I can't even imagine getting back into the dating world. You know, like,
at this age.
Yeah.
I was married when I was 20 years old.
Well, that's very much. I come from that era too. You know, like you come out of high school, you have your high school sweetheart, you get married, you have kids like in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Very 80s.
Then you find yourself single like 20 years later, like, what the hell is this? How do I navigate this? Yeah. But I think what you look for in a partner, hopefully, as you age and mature and get wiser, what you're looking for in a partner is different than it used to be. Yeah.
Well, you learn a few things, I'm sure.
You learn some things. You learn some things that are hard.
Try not to make the same mistakes.
Try not to, yeah. But they say, like, to say to young men, like, the partner you choose is going to be one of the most important decisions of your life. Yeah,
it is. I mean, at the same time, like, you can choose to, like you say, swipe again and find someone else, or you can choose to work on the relationship. Right? And there's a skill to knowing when to do which one. To be honest, but it's not a skill that we're taught. Not a skill that's even really mentioned, because it's it's not easy, and most people get it wrong. Most of the time.
Yeah, my parents have been together 50 years now. That's rare.
The same with my
folks. Doesn't happen as much anymore.
God, no.
Yeah. If I get that, I'm gonna have to live to 97. I'm gonna have to be 97.
Hey, medical technology is always advancing.
I guess so.
You never know.
Yeah, but there's a depth of relationship that comes with those years that, you know, you don't get that. I mean, there's that puppy love, there's that excitement of a new relationship. But that only lasts so long. You got to get into that depths of the real intimacy and stuff as it goes. Yeah.
I don't like to think of it as lost time. You know, it's all about the growth and you know, within yourself and learning about yourself and how to apply, you know, those mistakes and learning from your mistakes and how to apply what you've learned into, you know, today's relationships, whatever that looks like, whether that's with, you know, a partner or a business partner. And
children.
Yeah.
I've been single for the most part for over a year now. And I like to believe that I'm going to bring a better version of myself into the next relationship.
Yeah.
And I like to believe that I'm going to have a better idea of what I need and what I want.
The sugar was
sugar, just no sugar. That's
recognizing
a good help right there. Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing.
No doubt.
Relationships, like it's so much. I think our grandparents had so much shit figured out that we are just now rediscovering, like the importance of solid relationships, the importance of sleep, the importance of sunshine. The importance of healthy diet.
Yeah, a supportive
all this stuff.
So all your grandparents tell you, go outside. He said, they were right.
They were right about a lot of shit. Don't tell them we said this.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't know how to run technology anyway. They're not listening, but they were right about some shit.
Well, maybe they're right about the technology as well. Maybe we shouldn't be using it as much.
Maybe. Yeah.
I've actually talked about that in one of the shows that I did. You know, I brought my son along 2 shows, 2 or 3 shows actually, and I talk about that and, you know, just the in between interviews. You know, we live in that tech world, you know, and my son, he's just so computer savvy. Like, he's so much more advanced than I'm ever going to be. Yeah. At 13. You know,
when we grew up, there was like one phone and it was bolted to the wall.
Yeah, I know.
Remember that? You had to call a girl. You had to talk to her mom first.
Did you ever call somebody from a payphone, but like tapping,
just random
the number? Like, you could actually like get away not putting in a quarter. Like, you could do like 3 taps for like number 3, stop,
okay.
then 5 taps, and you keep going like that until you get the phone number, and then actually dial that
without paying.
I
didn't know.
Yeah.
Hacking a phone.
Was street smart. So,
And then later on, you used to be able to buy boxes that would do the tone, so you could do like a tone thing through it as well. Yeah.
Cheating the old payphones. Can't do that anymore. When's the last time you saw a payphone?
Oh, I saw one. I saw one last year.
I saw one in Toronto. I was in Toronto about a month ago. I saw one in Chinatown.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's an event, isn't it, nowadays? Right? You take note.
I know. It's like, well, we look at Lucky Vineyards, with the phone booth.
Right.
Oh. People are just like, they love it.
Everybody has their photo of that. Everybody has a photo of that. Yeah. I think there's more women on the dating apps with that photo than their cats. Oh, man. Did you see the phone booth boxing? It's a new sport.
Yes.
Phone booth boxing.
I know so many things.
They're just beating on each other in a phone booth until one guy goes down.
Yeah.
Wild.
I know. Things we do for entertainment these days is pretty crazy. Like,
it is. Yeah.
Guys slapping.
Slap fighting and stuff like that. It's insane.
Why?
Wild time.
I guess why not? Yeah.
Guys with too much time on their hands. Single guys with too much time on their hands. That's who's doing this shit.
Dude, just slap me.
Yeah, I know. Who knows? I got a new sport.
Well, that's how all of this stuff got started, I guess.
Eye poking tournament.
It's only a matter of time.
It is. Yeah. Well, you just go around like this. Oh, that was at the Larry, Curly, and Moe. Yeah. Well, that's cool that your son. How does your son feel about all the fame and all this stuff with the TV shows and that stuff? Does he think it's cool or does he think it's lame? Because my kids make fun of me. They remind me. I try to teach my daughter something how to make pasta. She goes, "Okay, Mr. Failed Master Chef." I'm like, just because I lost doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing here. How did you?
I mean,
kids, 13-year-old boys don't like to admit that their dads are cool.
Yeah, I think he's over it.
Is he? Okay.
We've done so much at this point that he's just like, whatever.
Whatever. It's not a big deal.
His friends, maybe a couple years ago, they thought I was cool. Maybe they still do. Who knows? But, I think he's totally over it. But I try to be a good example in the sense that, just, if an opportunity comes your way, man, just if it makes sense for you to jump on it, you never know what's going to happen.
It does kind of open the kids' eyes to what's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know one of my best friends said, my parents always taught me growing up that I could do anything if I set my mind to it, but they never demonstrated it. He said, like, telling me that is one thing, but showing me is a whole other thing. Yeah. But your kid sees that cool shit can be done.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Saw it from the inside out.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And he's been on that journey with me as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hopefully, I'm sure he'll make something out of himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of ideas already, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Foster that. That's
I
cool.
wish I knew what I wanted to do or, direction or even the slightest direction, I wanted to go in coming out of high school.
Yeah, we still don't know what we want to do when we grow up.
Well, that's exactly what I've been saying, like, fuck, what's next? What is next?
45, I need to know.
Yeah.
But I mean, careers change so much now. Technology changes, opportunities change. We don't really know. Like our grandparents or parents' age, they could have like one career their whole lives. But now, it's very common for people to have different careers.
Working in a mill or something like that.
Yeah, like a kid now, like what do you prepare for with artificial intelligence and robots and all these things coming? Like, we don't know what kind of future we're going to be facing.
Gosh, no.
They used to say learn to code, program computers. Well, computers are programming themselves now. Artificial intelligence is doing that shit better than humans now. Right? Like we don't, someone said, we're always going to need roofers. Well, I saw a roofing robot recently.
Really?
Yes. The robot roofs like way faster and way better than a human. Like what, if you're a young person.
This would be in a warehouse, I imagine?
No,
or it's like on site?
Yeah, on site.
Wow.
It goes, like almost like a printer. It just goes across the roof on rails and lays down shingles. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like a $40,000 robot that can do a roof in an afternoon. Doesn't show up drunk, doesn't fall off the roof.
And kids
doesn't talk back.
Kids, build robots that know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
But everything is going to have...
That's where the big bucks are.
We're talking about like all the automation of restaurants earlier. I mean, that's the way everything is going to head because now that the AI has started, it's only a matter of time before everything gets trained.
so
I mean,
wild.
there are robots, there are like human-looking robots in factories now making stuff.
Yeah.
Like only the top half, but they can do stuff, assemble stuff, and talk about it's pretty.
Those Tesla robots or something else, huh? Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like humans.
Can't.
Oh, those? Yeah, that's creepy.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do we do, kids? Better get that tent ready. Be living in the park.
Yeah.
They will all be living in the parks. Robots take our houses. What are you going to do? Tell them no?
Hey, I could do foraging workshops.
Yes, we'll be foraging in the woods,
exactly.
living in tents.
Yeah,
maybe
survival skills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is entirely possible. Who knows where our world's gonna go?
Yeah.
But just the hobby aspect of it is cool. So what kind of stuff do you get out of the forest here?
I work with seasons. I mean, spring, come sort of like out this way. Maybe not as far as Greenwood, Kingston, but I start with ramps.
What?
Ramps,
Wild
leeks, wild garlic. It's frowned upon in Nova Scotia. People like to think that they're endangered, but I swear to God, like where I go, the patch is like 100 meters. Like
wow.
There's an abundance, but there's a sustainable way of about how to harvest. That's what people like to think as a special ingredient, because it's all about the root system. Like it takes like 4 years or something like that for it to germinate.
Oh, wow.
If someone is to clear a patch, like that will never come back.
Okay.
So there's sustainable practices in foraging ramps. You just take the greens because there are bulbs that are pretty attractive to chefs. But even you try to do that in a restaurant, you're going to hear about it for that reason that people. They are endangered, but I think there's lots out there. I provide multiple restaurants with ramp greens. I've been tapping into pine cone type stuff and working with experimenting with fermentation syrups, which is called mugulio. It's a technique that comes out of Italy. Mugulio is the pine that's found in the Alps, and it's just taking pine cones. You could use spruce, of course. So I've been experimenting with a multitude of conifers and stuff like that, and found that pine is the one that I love. But yeah, you put it in a jar, brown sugar, put the lid on, let it do its thing. I mean, you got to really
ferments.
Yeah, it ferments because they hold so much water that it's going to extract it. The sun helps, of course, but if you put it in a dark place and forget about it for a couple of months, you're going to get something pretty special.
Wow.
Mushrooms, of course, a lot of sea greens. There's a lot of succulents out there with very little information. I find is kind of interesting on the internet. There's you can't find nutritional values behind stuff like oyster leaf and sea asparagus, and they're all succulents, and it's kind of interesting. I just love it.
Super interesting.
It is super interesting, actually. To bite into something that just has this pop of salty goodness. It's like biting into like a unripe grape, more that it's almost ripe. And you bite into that skin and get that little squirt of juice in your mouth. Like it's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, so cool. And like our ancestors would have been very intimately, very intimate with all that kind of stuff.
But yeah,
I have no idea.
I've tapped into seaweed, all kinds of stuff. Every year, like I experiment, I learn a little bit more, and I get excited for the next year. It's just like, I kind of have a vision of what I want to do with some of the previous stuff that I've done, and hopefully to have that platform one of these days to be able to promote that. And I did that this year with Devour. I did a lunch at Le Caveau with Jason Lynch, and to my surprise, they called it a forage lunch, so I had to get out there and actually forage some stuff. But it wasn't hard, like it was a great opportunity to showcase, some of the stuff that I've been working on, like outside the restaurant.
Well, you're officially part of my apocalypse team then. We're always building our apocalypse team around here.
Surviving the apocalypse.
Yeah. Yes. If the grocery stores close, who are your friends?
Yeah.
We had an indigenous lady on last week. Brenda Perks. She was plant medicine. She was a nurse for 40 years, and now she works with plant medicine. And she did a part of that research project in Windsor with psilocybin magic mushrooms with PTSD patients. Yeah.
Wow.
Really, really cool. She grows a lot of this stuff like plant medicine in her own garden, leads workshops and stuff like that. But there's a lot of ancient knowledge.
I have a book,
medicine and food
medicine,
and all these things. That we seem to have forgotten.
It's all out there, man.
Yeah. Better than the pharmaceuticals for us, and a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And food too.
Less corrupt.
Yeah.
Well, you look at COVID, you looked at all the symptoms and, and it's all out there, to tackle these things, it's just like I don't know, it's kind of unfortunate. It's all the magic of one needle, but it was getting back to those kind of practices and, getting informed on what certain plants do for certain things. And, the medicinal side of things, is something I'm getting more into.
Yeah.
I find it super interesting. It's free.
Yeah. Nature gave it to us. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not some executive somewhere in an office.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah. Trust the rich white dude. I don't know. He needs another yacht.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, and I find that a lot of people are coming back around to trust these things more now.
Yeah,
like the natural, just sunlight, for vitamin D and food and medicine. Like nature's given us what we need.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
but arrogance of humans, we think we can improve on that.
I know.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, cool. Well, was there anything else you want to shout out or talk about? You see your Taco Tuesdays, is that's like every Tuesday? You said Taco Tuesday program. Even that's
program,
fancy.
I call it. Yeah, well,
it's not just Taco Tuesday; it's a Taco Tuesday program.
Yeah, that's actually new for me.
Is it?
Yeah. Saying that is kind of new.
It's just
but I've done interviews, talk about what is the food program like at Maritime Express Cider. I'm like, I don't know if it's so much of a program, but
it is now. People are showing up going to expect a Taco Tuesday program.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. But no, I call it a program. It's the one thing that is consistent.
That's good.
We do on a weekly basis.
And you're mixing it up constantly, different things.
We've tried doing different things like steak nights and stuff like that on a Sunday out of all days, which is kind of funny. But
everybody loves tacos.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday, $5 tacos. I may make our own torts depending what the ingredients are. How I'm feeling as well. Do I want to make all these torts? But no, it's allowed me. When I first got to Maritime, I was more focused on things I like to eat and not really thinking about the clientele. Maybe it was about me back then. It's just like here's what I want to do.
What I can do.
Yeah. Here's what I can do. And when I came back to Maritime, it's like Scott told me, he's like, yeah, we have this Taco Tuesday, and I tried to can it. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
But I've embraced it and realized, we were pretty creative. I'd like to think we were elevated pub food.
Yep.
We could very much do fine dining as well. We have that talent in the kitchen, but that's not what people come to see us for. They come to see the fried chicken, stuff like that. But Taco Tuesday for me personally allows me to have that creative space.
Well, that's cool that you've embraced it. And done something cool with it.
I've always been that artsy kid, creative. And the tacos have allowed me to do that. So that's great.
That's cool.
I do all the photography as well. And that's something that's in my contract is, taking care of the social media stuff and pushing what we do. And no, it's fun. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to definitely come on a Tuesday now.
Yeah,
I'm pumped about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And my partner, she's an enthusiast, and
good.
she comes and she doesn't lie to me. She gives me a rating.
That's good.
And if it's shit, she'll let me know it's shit.
That's good. But being here in like the Annapolis Valley and near an Air Force base, it's given us a unique opportunity with our menu because, like a lot of the Air Force have pretty well traveled. They've lived in bigger cities, Vancouver or Toronto or Germany. They've been all over the world. They have I'd say a wider palette than most people that have like born and raised and stayed in the Valley their whole lives. But there's a lot of local people too that want to try and experiment new things. And we've had a huge influx of people that moved here from bigger cities in the last, since COVID.
And so the amount of immigrants that are here
immigrants,
now, it's
there's
wild.
so many wide, broad flavors and tastes. But it gives us a real opportunity to experiment with some stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but even with our staff, because we had Moroccan, Filipinos, and, our menu doesn't cater to the colonial palate. Yeah. And I've done some things. I've embraced some old childhood favorites myself. Like we have a grilled cheese and tomato soup. Just classic. Grilled baguettes with Swiss cheese and then a house-made tomato soup and a coffee cup and the baguette. Great for dipping. It's perfect. Yeah. It's like a comfort food, right? No doubt.
And we have a hot hamburger. Yeah, we have a hot hamburger sandwich, called the truck stop. Because you go with your grandparents to the Irving or something like that, and it's just what you had. You should have seen me trying to teach my Nepal chef to put gravy on the burger. He thought I was punking him. He thought I was tricking him. I'm like, just put gravy on that. He's like, no, sir. I said, no cheese, just onions, pour gravy on it. He's like, I don't think I can. You can. And now it's their favorite thing to do, to pour gravy on this hamburger with peas and fries. But people love that stuff. And part of it, my ego was no, I want to do things that's never been done, right? But it's kind of cool to embrace these old things.
Texaco.
Yeah.
Texaco.
Gas station food.
Gas station restaurants.
It's local grown beef. It's local grown fries. We make we make the gravy from scratch. It's well done, but it's something that people grow up on and love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why not?
Well, that was proper cooking back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
it wasn't
cool.
so much of this bag stuff and reheat.
Yeah, I love going to a truck stop when I was a kid and getting the hot hamburger sandwich. Yeah.
No doubt.
Or grilled cheese and
stop
tomato
at the
soup.
Big Stop now on my way home.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup. Lunchtime on a Saturday watching Fred Flintstone eating grilled cheese and tomato soup. I'm not too good for that.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't get much better than that. It's very comforting. A couple times I've been hungover and I come back here. I might spend the night in the city and I've been up all night. Come back here for lunch and I want the grilled cheese and tomato soup. That's what I need.
Classic.
my soul on your phone. That. That comfort food, there's a place for fancy and cool, but there's also a place for just that comfort thing. Yeah. The fried chicken is kind of you guys' specialty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is kind of my favorite time of year, fall, winter, for that reason of comfort food and some of the features, gosh, I'm going to put a shepherd's pie on. Yeah. I'm going to put a meat pie, tortilla,
I had a lamb shepherd's pie at Cask and Kettle in New Brunswick the other day. Yeah, it was great. It was $30.
French onion soup.
But it was good.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Making me hungry. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, man.
No, thank you
for coming in.
Yes.
Excited to see what's next.
Thanks
for
having
me on a Tuesday night at the next taco.
Sounds good, man.
Thing. Yeah. But,
hope to see you all there.
Yeah. And if you haven't been out to Maritime Express, guys, you got to go check it out. Dope. Follow them on. Tell them your social media so they can see all these delicious things.
More so Instagram at Chef Stephane Levac. STEPHANE LEVAC, Chef Stephane Levac. It's not Stephanie, it's Stephane.
Yeah. And then Maritime Express has a social media as well. They can see a lot of your stuff on there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I take care of some of that as well. Between Jimmy and I, there's
some beautiful stuff.
Yeah. It's eclectic.
And it's a beautiful building. Just the food,
if you've never
presentation, the whole thing. It's a really cool spot.
It's a great atmosphere, that's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, or if you'd like to support us, please visit Refound Brewing Company at 573 Main Street, Kingston, or buy our product wherever it's available, including our Foolishly Optimistic IPA at your local NSS